Okay, so now coming into standing position. So you're going to spread the feet as much as you can into the ground. If you want to come towards the front of your mat, at some point you're going to be stepping backwards. So that will give you some space to go to. Just take the weight into the balls of your feet and then draw the weight back into your heels, and just spend some time going from front to back. So weight into the front, weight into the back. And then take your weight into the right side, into the left side. So just shift your weight, right leg and then left leg. So working the weight into both sides. And then coming back into the centre. So ideally we want to have the weight into all four of those places in the feet. We want to have the weight in the balls of the feet, in the heels, in the inner edges, in the outer edges, and evenly through both feet. So ideally, in a perfect world, that is exactly where our weight would be. And as I've mentioned before, in pregnancy, there's a tendency for our baby weight to pull us forwards. And what that does is it compresses the lower back. Then you put heels on and it over-rotates you a little bit more. So this is one of the reasons why women endemically have lower back pulling and niggles and aches in pregnancy. It's because everything gets pulled forwards. Something that again will exacerbate it is if we never unlock our knees. So if you're a perpetual knee locker, it's quite hard to say, like I was for years, and my natural position was like this, and then I had my baby and got pregnant, I had to really adjust and come back. So we need the pelvis to sit neutrally. And if we lock our knees, there's a tendency for the pelvis to over-rotate from that position anyway. So we need to unlock them. It doesn't mean we have to walk around with our knees bent because we look like we need a loo all the time, but we need to unlock them as opposed to locking them. So it's a very subtle thing. The legs can still be straight. We're not looking for bent legs, we're looking for unlocked knees. And if you do lock your knees when you stand, you'll notice the difference when you unlock them. So what we're looking for is this neutral pelvis where there's not any compression in the lower back. Now the lower back does have a curve to it, so it naturally has a curve. So don't try and flatten it, otherwise you'll curve too much the other way, but you don't want it over exaggerated. So it's find the position where the pelvis is nice and neutral. Okay, so now taking the arms up over the head, take hold of your opposite elbows and just take the feet a little bit wider so it's comfortable. And then we're going to work into the upper body. So we're just going to start to circle the upper body around. So as if you're drawing a circle with your elbows. So you'll find the weight shifting from one foot to the other. You might also find the weight shifting into the ball of the foot and then around into the heel. So notice how the weight shifts around. So this move, really good for heartburn, really good for indigestion, really good for breathlessness, and just nice for those moments when you just feel like you haven't got any space, when you feel like your baby's taking up all the space in your body. So the next time you come to the front, go the other way. And now rotate in the opposite direction. You might get a nice stretch in your shoulders, in the sides of your ribs, around your shoulder blades. And then you can release the arms and come down. So we can take this move a little bit deeper. So you might want to take the feet a little bit wider if that feels comfortable. And then just get into a comfortable squatting position. So however that is for you. So it has to feel right in your pelvis, it has to feel right in your hips. So take some time shifting your weight from side to side until you know that you are comfortable here. And then straighten the legs. You're going to take the arms back over the head. Now see if you can cross the other way. See if you go to a natural way, it'll be the other way. And then you're going to bend the knees. So we start inhaling here. On the out breath, you're going to come over to the right side And then you're going to circle all the way down towards the floor. So at this point, the knees will bend quite considerably. And then as you inhale, you're going to sweep up towards the left and right the way back up to the centre. Now, if you want, you can straighten the legs here, or if you're comfortable, you can stay in this low squat. Then you go the other way. Breathe out, down the left side. Elbows move towards the ground, and then on the inhale, you sweep up, right side, and all the way back. Okay, keep going. So over to the right, down to ground, and then inhaling the other side. Coming all the way up. And changing sides. So this is a nice one for the back. So again, if you're having any niggles in the back, gives you a nice stretch in all dimensions around the back. And we're just going to do that once more in each direction. So you can keep the knees as soft as you like. And then when you come back, you can relax the arms. And then just bring the heels in and the toes in. So you're coming back to a more neutral position. I'm going to do a little bit of just one of our birthing moves. So bringing the hips onto the shoulders, and we're going to circle the hips now. So you're going to draw a big circle with your pelvis. So hip circle moves, really, really useful for stage 1 of labour when you are trying to dilate your cervix. It really helps with the dilation of your cervix for lots of different reasons. And one of those is that it gives you something to do. So you're actively involved in your labour rather than being a helpless passenger, which is how you see most births, isn't it? Let's face it, on the telly. Woman lying on her back, not being in control at all, and quite, understandably, it's uncomfortable. But when you stand up, you've got gravity on your side, so the baby's head pushes against the cervix, and gravity will help to do that. When you're lying on your back, you don't have gravity on your side. So we're going to add a much more relaxing breath. So we're going to do the straw breath, which is breathing out as if you have a tiny straw in your mouth. Almost like a silent whistle. So you'll notice energetically this has a different quality. This is calming. This is soothing. So every time you have a contraction during your labour, you want to be in a position that allows you to move your pelvis. We've got a couple of different moves. We've got figures of 8s, we've got half moons, we've got full circles, which is this one. So it doesn't really matter. You could make up your own moves so long as you're moving your pelvis and you're in a position where gravity is on your side. So that might be standing, sitting on your ball, or being on all fours. Basically any position except lying on your back. You might be leaning over a chair, you might be kneeling, doesn't matter. So long as you have gravity on your side. Now go the other way, circling the opposite direction. Still using your straw breath. So just a normal breath in through the nose, and then just blowing the breath out through the lips. You might find that you want to breathe in with the straw as well. It's quite cooling. So if you're feeling hot, either now or in labour, then you can suck the breath in through that straw. And then come back. Bring the feet together. Okay, have a little jiggle, a bounce. And then we're going to work through just a last little standing stretch, which is going to stretch out your hamstrings. So you're going to start at the front of your space. Have your feet hip distance apart. And then following what you can imagine as being a set of tram lines or train tracks running down your mat. Step your right foot back so it stays on that tram line. Okay, so what you don't want to do is have one foot directly behind the other, because then you'll lose your balance. The wider your feet are, you might even want to go wider than tram line, because that means you've got a nice steady base. If you're feeling a bit wobbly, take the feet a little bit further apart. Now with this back hip, we want it to come around and face the front of the mat. So come up onto the ball of your foot so that your right hip faces forwards, and then lower the heel. Now you might have to step that foot in to get that to happen. Another calf muscle stretch. So this is another anti-cramp one that you can do. So you can do this pose standing up as well. Now bend the front knee until the knee sits over the ankle. So you might have to shift the front leg. Now shift the weight into the back heel. So there's a real sense that the weight of this pose is moving back and not into the knee at the front. Okay, so I'll talk you through the sequence. We'll do it slowly and then you can run it through with your breath. So on the in-breath, take the arms up over the head. And then on the out-breath, we're going to open the elbows out to the sides and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you're getting a stretch across the front of the back. On the inhale, we're going to take the arms back up over the head. And then on the exhale, we're going to reach the arms back behind us and interlace the fingers. So now you're getting a bigger stretch across the front of the chest. On the inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg. And then on the out breath, we're going to fold forwards. But you're going to keep the weight pushing into the back leg, and you're just going to push your hips backwards. Rather than fold forwards, push the hips backwards. Raise the arms over the head. On the inhale, bend the front knee and push yourself all the way back up. And then on the out breath, release the hands. Bring back into the heart space. Okay. Same thing again. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out. Take the elbows to the sides and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel the stretch across your chest. As you breathe in, take the arms all the way back up again. Keep the feet rooting down, so drop the feet into the floor. Exhale, reach the arms back behind, interlace the fingers. And inhale, straighten the front leg. And then on the exhale, just push your hips backwards. Push the buttocks backwards and fold. On the inhale, bend the front knee and push all the way back up. And then breathing out, bring the hands back into the heart space. Straighten both legs. Turn the feet onto the wide edge of your mat. And then just come and dangle for a moment into wide-legged position. So that can be however you like. You can have the knees bent. If the hands don't reach the floor, then you might want to just dangle, or you might want to put the hands on a block, or you might want to just hold your shins. So just finding what works for you. And then you're going to slowly uncurl, come all the way back up. And then you can bring your toes in, heels in, until you're all the way back to standing. And then you're going to go back to the front of your space, and we're going to do the same thing again. So start with your feet hip distance or wider. Step the left leg back this time. Come onto the ball of your foot and get the hips to both face forwards. Then drop the heel down. You want the right knee bent at a right angle. So you should get a nice stretch in the back heel. And then bring the palms of your hands together. As you breathe in, reach up. Let the ribs do the lifting, not the shoulders. On the exhale, elbows come out to the side, squeeze the shoulder blades, keep pushing into both feet. On the inhale, the arms reach back up. And then on your exhale, reach the arms all the way back behind you, interlace your fingers, get more of a stretch across your chest. Now as you breathe in, straighten the front leg. And then on the out breath, draw the hips backwards. Coming into the forward bend. And then as you breathe in, bend the front knee again, push into the foot. Come all the way up, take the arms over the head. And then breathing out the hands, come back into the heart space. And we'll just do that one more time, breathing in. Breathing out, elbows open wide, squeeze them, shoulder blades together. Inhaling the arms, reach back up again. You're still rooting down through the lower body. Exhaling, the arms come back behind you and you interlace your fingers. Inhaling, straightening the front leg. And exhaling, drawing the hips backwards. Bend the front knee. Inhale, rise back up. Sweep the arms back up over the head. And exhale, bring the hands back into the heart space. And then you're just going to shift the weight into the front leg and drag. If you drag your toe along the floor, you can keep your balance as you come back into standing. Okay, all good? So, little shake of the legs, bounce the heels up and down. And then we're just going to come down and do a couple of little poses, and then I'll get you into relaxation. So you can come down the same way that you went up, so bending the knees, folding forwards, and maybe dangling a little bit if you want to, maybe swaying. So that feels nourishing for your body. And then when you're ready, you can bend the knees, walk your hands forwards, and come all the way down. So we're going to come and lie on the back momentarily. So we're going to do a couple of little poses. So come and lie down. And another really nice move for the lower back is to draw the knees around your abdomen. So the knees come either side, and then maybe just circling them around so that you can get a massage into the lower back and into the back of your pelvis. So it's quite a nice move to massage out the back of your pelvis, which can often feel really congested during pregnancy. So just enjoy this short move. And then drop the feet down onto the floor. Just rest the arms either side. So we're going to do a little bit of pelvic girdle strengthening. So we're going to do a foot press. So as you breathe in, you're going to push the right foot into the floor. And what you should feel is your right glute and maybe a little bit of the pelvic girdle muscles tightening. And then you relax. And then you do the same on the other side. So push the left foot into the ground. Feel that tightening and tensing in the pelvic girdle muscles. And then relax. Now push both feet into the floor. Feel the tightening and tensing in both buttocks and into the pelvic floor muscles. And then relax. So when you do this move, when you push the foot into the ground, there's a corresponding tilting backwards of the pelvis. So you might find that the lower back connects in with the floor, and that's absolutely fine. So we do the same thing again. So we're going to push down through the right foot. You can just breathe normally. And then relax. Push down through the left foot. And then relax. And then push through both. And then relax. You're going to do it one more time, and you're going to squeeze your pelvic floor muscles at the same time. So push the right foot down into the ground, squeeze the pelvic floor muscles, and then relax. Do the same thing on the left side. And then relax. And then both feet. And then relaxing. Okay, so last move is going to be a little twist. So this is a good one for the lower back. So when the lower back is feeling, get dizzy.
No, it's just real pressure on my lungs. It's just struggling to breathe.
Okay, trying to think of an alternative. Do you want to do this sitting up? So I wanted to give you a twist because it's good for the back. Yeah. So if you want to, you can do this.
No, it's fine. I'll go back.
So you'll just breathe now and then.
Yeah.
Not breathe when you get there. Okay, so just a tiny little twist to finish. So in that supine position with the knees on the ground, take your arms out at shoulder height. You might want to have the knees a little bit separated. The next time you breathe out, take both of your knees over to your right side. Notice how that feels. So the knees might comfortably get all the way down to the ground, or there may be some tightness in the lower back. So we'll just hold it there for a breath while you just assess how that feels. As you breathe in, squeeze the legs, push the feet into the ground and rise up. Or just push the foot into the ground that touches the ground. And then on the out breath, take the knees over to the left side. So again, there might be some residual tightness. It might be tighter more on one side than the other because, as I said before, we're not symmetrical. Notice how that feels. And then when you want to rise up, grip the thighs, push the foot into the ground, the one that's touching the ground, and rise all the way up. And you're just going to continue in that same way. So come over to the right side, and you've got a couple of ways of working. If it's really tight on one side, you might want to spend 2 or 3 breaths on the tight side. If it's tight on both sides, you might want to spend 2 or 3 breaths on both sides. Just notice how it feels as you work through this gentle rotation. So these lying twists are also really lovely for the back, where it feels sometimes that there's a lot of restriction or compression or tightness or just general backache. The next time you come over to the left side, can you make that the last of your twist? And then you can roll all the way over onto your left side and come up slowly until you're sitting. Everybody okay? So we're going to finish off before we lie down with a short breathing practice. So this is a really, really nice practice to sort of shut the world out. It's quite a good one to do generally, especially at the moment, just shut the world out. But it's also quite useful to do during labour, particularly if you want to find your own inner calm and your own inner space, but there's a lot going on outside. Because sometimes if you're in a busy maternity ward, you know, you get caught up with all the activity that's going on outside, and actually what you want to do in labour is create your little bubble of peace and quietness and darkness. So this is how women labour best, in quiet, where they feel safe, where they feel comfortable, when it's dark and where it's warm. They're the things that physiologically women need for birth. So we can't always dictate what's going on in terms of sound around us, but we can with this little practice where we're going to block the ears off in a moment, and we're going to use the bee breath, the bumblebee, the humming breath. It's very similar to, you know what kids do sometimes when they don't want to hear what's going on? What do? They do that. They shut off their ears and they make a noise so they can't, you know, so you can't get in. And this is what we're doing, but in a more adult way. So if you come and sit back against the wall so that you've got some support for your back, and then you're going to bend the knees up so that you can rest your elbows on your knees. So that's going to allow you to block off your ears. So I'll show you first, but don't block off your ears, otherwise you won't hear me. The thumbs are going to go on that hard cartilage flap, the tragus, and you're going to fold it into your ears, and that means it'll cut off about 90% of the sound that's going on. And then you can just rest your head in your forehead, rest your head in your hands. And you're just going to do 10 breaths, and I'm going to give you a choice of the ones to use. It's quite nice to use Ujjayi breath, the throat breath. You know, we call it ocean breath anyway, and you'll hear it so much more now. So this is the ha breath, but with the mouth closed. So it's the same sound as if you're sighing, but you do it with the mouth closed, and it really does sound like the ocean as you breathe in and as you breathe out. The other alternative, if you really want to shut the sound out, is to do your humming or bee breath, which is just on the exhale. Okay, so you can choose either of those. You're going to do 10 breaths. You're going to have to count, you won't hear me. While you're doing those 10 breaths, I'm going to turn the main lights off, so you've just got the low lights on. When you've done your 10 breaths, you can come down and lie for the rest of the session, and I'll take you through a guided relaxation. So when you come and lie down, you can lie on your back if you're less than 20 weeks pregnant. Otherwise, please lie on your side, or you can stay sitting if lying down at all is just uncomfortable for you. But I'll go through all that again. Okay, so when you're ready, you can block off your ears and do your 10 breaths. Just making sure as you get yourself into your position that you are comfortable, so you can lie onto your side, and as you are on your side you might want to place a block between the knees if there's any discomfort around your hips, so placing a block or a pillow. If there's more of a discomfort around the round ligaments in the abdomen, then you might feel more comfortable placing your pillow underneath your bump, so that might feel more comfortable. And you also might want to have something underneath the head, so you probably find as you try to sleep at night now you're becoming a bit of a princess for hogging all the pillows to try and get yourself into a comfortable position. But it is important, and it is difficult getting comfortable when you're lying down during pregnancy, so make sure that you do have all the pillows and all the support that you need. So allowing yourself to settle back into stillness. Feeling the support of the ground beneath you. And then seeing if you can cultivate a sense of softness, a sense of surrender. gentle, steady rhythm. And noticing once again that flow of breath. The sensation of the inhale as it moves in through the nostrils. And the sensation of the exhale as the breath moves out of the nostrils. And then fix your attention on your right leg. I'm going to spend some time completely relaxing the right leg, creating a sense of softness and also spaciousness. So relaxing into the right big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and the little toe. The sole of your right foot, the top of your foot, the heel and the ankle, the calf, the shin, the knee, the front of your right thigh, inner thigh, outer thigh, back of the thigh. And as you allow the right leg to become relaxed, get a sense of it becoming heavy so that the leg feels as if it's lightly drawing out of the hip socket. And then turning your attention to the left leg, beginning again that process of softening, relaxing, releasing. Start with the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, the sole of the left foot, the top of the left foot, the left heel, the ankle, the shin, the calf muscles, the knee, the front of the left thigh, inner thigh, outer thigh, and the back of your thigh. And just get a sense that the left leg is so heavy, so relaxed, that it lightly draws out of the hip socket. Create a sense of softness around the pelvis, around the buttocks, hip flexors, pelvic floor, and relaxing into the lower abdomen. And as you send this wave of softness and relaxation into your lower abdomen, just connecting in with your baby, sending this wave of softness, spaciousness, and relaxation into your baby. And then begin to send that wave of relaxation into the whole of your back, beginning with the lower back, softening and releasing all the back muscles, creating a sense of spaciousness around the vertebrae. And then climbing up the spine, relaxing and softening the muscles in the middle back, the spine becoming spacious. And then finally relaxing the muscles in the upper back. shoulder blades releasing. And then sending those waves of relaxation down into your arms, softening and relaxing the upper arms, the elbows, the lower arms, the wrists, the backs of your hands, the palms of your hands, your thumbs, index fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, little fingers. And just let the arms feel so heavy and so relaxed that there is a sense of them being lightly drawn away from the shoulder sockets. And then finally, relaxing the head, softening all the muscles in your face. Feeling this sense of relaxation, softness, and spaciousness in the whole of your body. And then move your awareness into the space behind your closed eyes. And in that space, I'd like you to visualize the bare earth of midwinter. So as we are at the moment in midwinter, most of the ground that we can see is bare earth. So all of nature has retracted down into the depths of the cool earth. And it looks like nothing's happening. It looks like the earth is asleep and that the earth is still. But there's a lot of energy below the surface of the earth. There's a lot of growth happening. So visualize everything below the surface of the ground that we can't see, that's hidden from view. The bulbs gently starting to sprout little green shoots, gently making their way up towards the sunlight. And then visualize those little shoots bursting through the crust of the earth. And then starting to grow upwards towards the sun, towards the light. And we can think of the process of pregnancy and birth in the same way. We've planted the seeds. The seeds are growing for the first few months unseen, hidden. And then the little shoots start to grow, and the shoots burst forth into the world. And then as these green shoots continue to grow, they bloom and blossom into the babies and the young children that we will learn to know, to understand, to love, to cherish, and to nurture. And then just gently letting go of that image, bringing your awareness back into the embodied sensations. So notice the feelings of the ground beneath you. Feel where your body touches the earth. And begin to externalize your awareness. Notice all the sounds that you can hear, the sounds inside the room and the sounds outside the room. Gently bring yourself back into the current moment, the present moment. And take a long, slow breath in and a slow breath out. And then begin to bring some movement into your body, moving your fingers, moving your toes, and stretching anywhere that you wish. So before you make your way up to sitting, have a good stretch. Make sure that you do feel awake. If you're lying on your back, then please take some time to roll onto your side before you come up so that your blood pressure can even itself out. And then in your own time, gradually bringing yourself up into a seated position. And just take a moment to notice how you feel. In your body, in your breath, in your mind. And then just taking the arms up over the head, and as you breathe in, have a little stretch, so reach up through one side, through the other side. And then just bringing the hands all the way down into the heart center. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Yogini Mamas. Namaste. Have a wonderful week.